Hello, myself Ramkrishna here. Basically, we are discussing one other topic, that is integration. Integration. Basically, we are discussing one other topic, that is this file. So this is about the IITs which we are discussing basically. So things are basically done. See basically the things. See the things basically, how things are basically getting controlled. So he basically had professor told that basically they are ready, they are basically getting ready. So the projects which is going to be creation basically, which is going to be create, for there basically the peoples are getting created. That basically our resources are getting created basically. See the things basically are getting the education sector. See basically how the education sectors are basically getting created basically. The resources are getting created for the future projects, for the future projects basically the future projects basically the things are getting created. तो one of the person told दे यार ये क्या है क्या what is this everything, this everything is created by Hitler group basically. You will not believe basically he is very dangerous person basically. He is basically all rounder basically, you can say. He is good into the education. Lots of people says that he is fighter here basically. See this is basically education fighting basically, and he has created his people basically has created. He basically just given the ideas basically, and see the creation. So future resources are basically getting created. So one of the person told that the education sector basically connects to two sides basically. One is the peace side, another is the fighting side basically. You have to go which side basically. That is the thing basically. That basically your professor only basically decides how you basically behave in the colleges, in the IITs campus, how basically you behave in. And that basically are captured from the blood group basically. Your blood groups are basically how your blood group is like this, then basically you will do like this. Your blood group is like this, then basically you will do like this. And how basically the blood groups are decided, that basically are decided by the government basically. Whenever you are basically getting the birth basically, that time basically they give the DTT ka injection basically. That is told as a given the name as a DTT. That basically what is the, that basically that we also don't know. But that basically decides the blood group basically, that this child basically is when you get the birth, that time basically you don't have the blood group basically. When you get the injection, that is the DTT basically, the groups basically of the Bollywood, they do the advertising of the DTT injection, where they tell that basically whenever you get the birth basically, your your child basically is supposed to get the DTT injection. In that basically they inject this also basically, that is the blood group basically. So this is also one of the management basically. That management is of the business basically. This basically you can say as a medical business basically. They basically say that basically we want this many blood group people basically. That's all basically. They tell this only basically. And according to that basically they get the injections basically. The whenever the child basically happens, they basically get the injection. For that basically I had taken one example also basically. Just say. This everything basically is connected to this only. This 1 crore student, 10 crore student, 20 crore students. That is connected with that injections basically. Lots of people say that yeah, how basically things are getting managed. Where basically this everything is done basically. That's why basically I'm telling you. See the things basically. And these see that everything is connected with 3 lakh also because the land basically is getting divided. Thousand cities are getting created. How cities are getting created, how the blood groups are created, each and everything basically are very dangerously connected. And here the thing basically which I want to discuss is that is connected with this basically also. That blood groups data are connected with that this diagram also. That blood groups are connected with the Bangalore city, Mumbai city, and this also basically. That house also it's connected with this. 3 lakh people, teams, this, that basically. So see basically everything basically are connected with each other basically. So one of the person told that how things are getting managed, right? That is the basically question basically. This house basically, total number of cities, total number of house, each and everything basically how it is getting managed. One of the person told that see the this condition also see 1 lakh malls, then 1 crore products got which all words basically that is connected with this also basically, because future paragraph basically are also planned like a future paragraph basically what is going to create, that is also basically planned basically by the creation, because in future basically what are the paragraphs, so never the things basically are leaked basically. The city creation basically, that is the thousand city basically which is getting created, that information basically never you can't leak the information basically, it's very dangerous basically. It's very dangerous basically because it's connected to the up to this level basically, and these groups basically are connected with that DTT ka injection basically. So resources are getting created, so resources are basically got birth only, then only basically they gets into up to this level na basically. IITs basically they are literally directly basically the IIT people basically comes, no, that is not possible. That basically are human clone industry basically, they basically directly can launch the IIT person basically, but here basically the it's not like that. They basically gets the birth, they basically get the DTT ka injection, and they say that basically yes this person basically he can jump into the IIT. So they basically that time only basically when he is getting the injection, that time only they decide that this person basically is going to get into IIT. So government basically decides the future of the each and every people basically. So you can just imagine basically, and this everything basically is ongoing on the ways of, because India is created by the Hitler group only, that is 100% sure, and Hitler basically is directly connected with the Sri Krishna Bhagwan God basically. He is directly connected. Lots of people say Hitler father also is there. Yes, he is also basically. He might be connected with some other god basically. So that basically we can't say basically who is connected with which god, but God basically are connected with that group basically. Otherwise basically the huge creation basically, the entire India basically is created by this person basically. So you can just imagine basically he is basically also not a normal person basically. If he basically can get the access of to creation of India, one IIT basically is just a small institute, but the entire group is controlling the entire government basically. So that is just small part of India basically. So it's a huge creation basically that is created basically. Now here in the question basically is this everything basically is created, right? The education sector, this, that basically, this blood group is also basically created, that blood group is also created. Here basically they have decided that basically the future also of the particular student, each and everything basically are decided, and this basically connects to the future resources basically. Resources are getting created basically by this IIT's group basically. Here basically I had taken the example of resources basically. In like this basically many resources are there. Here basically I am taking the example of education sector basically, nothing else basically. And other than education sectors basically are also there basically. They are also basically getting created by certain things basically. So you can just imagine basically things basically are, everything basically is created. So this is the example of education sector basically. That is the IITs, IIMs, everything basically. So you can just imagine basically this thing basically. This is the live example basically. IITs basically 18 books, 18 books basically. Professor told that basically have this data basically from the foods business data basically, have this data from these malls. Then they basically told that this blood group only, they have the data of blood group also basically. They basically collected the blood group, and the blood group basically they told that basically you have these foods from this. Then they basically were creating for the future products basically, that is the projects basically. They are basically into the banking side, module side basically, and the investment side, and the banking side, and the investment and the finance side basically. And resources are getting created like this. So one of the person told that it's not a huge creation basically, it's a very big creation basically. So just see the creation. Here basically I have taken the example of just IITs. Like this basically there are many things basically. Sometimes basically the professor basically also gets afraid that basically that student also basically can overtake me. So that time basically they creates problem also basically. So that is a tracking thing basically.